in. How is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Gran Turismo 4. Continuing the Formula Championship that should be quite literally the halfway point, since this is the 8th race in the championship and there are a total of 15, so yeah, halfway, quite literally halfway. So what track is this gonna be? I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I never do. Oh, it's Seoul, damn. I was anticipating this track quite some time ago. Well, if there was any doubt, I'm disabling all the driving aids in a track like this, because it should be quite free. I mean, not only it's an urban circuit, but also an easy urban circuit. Probably the easiest one in the game. It would be pretty funny that I say that and I'm gonna get my ass kicked now, but nah. This shouldn't be a problem. The first couple laps I probably need to get a little bit used to the car again. But this, I mean, just look at the shape of the track. It's essentially like 4 straight lines and just some 90-degree corners, and that's it. I will use manual transmission, but I didn't really find manual transmission to be very fun to use the other day. It was more of a pain in the ass. So those 113 laps are a very interesting number without a doubt. 113. Nice. Pretty cool. Well, if there was any track where you would want to do the combination of disabling the driving aids plus using manual transmission, it will be this track. But I feel like that's going way overboard. Because basically at that point you have to both be paying a lot of attention to the acceleration and braking, and also pay a lot of attention to the shift. Well, obviously, yeah, that's what a real life driver does, but not a real life driver. I'm just chilling here, you know. This is essentially the easiest track in the game. I don't think there is a track easier than this one. Because obviously you have things like Autumn Ring or a driving park that are supposed to be for beginners, but they are for beginners assuming you're using a very slow car. If you use a super fast car on those tracks, you're gonna get demolished. Well, not necessarily demolished, but it's not gonna be nice. I gotta say that it would have been an interesting experiment to do the combination of manual and no driving aids, but nah, I'll have to pass. So another thing that is interesting that I checked and I didn't know. Remember in the previous stream, Monaco was the track, the second track of the stream, and it had, I think, 60 something laps, or some, no, 70 something, 78 I think. So it turns out that's actually the amount of laps in Formula 1. I was not aware of that, but yes, it is supposed to indeed mimic exactly how it is in Formula 1. And another thing that I also had my doubts on the previous stream, and I was able to confirm, is that indeed the Japanese Grand Prix on Formula 1 is on Suzuka circuit. And Suzuka circuit, I mean, I don't know exactly from a technical perspective how good a race there can be, but it feels like Suzuka circuit is like a very narrow track, isn't it? It's like for current Formula 1 cars that are very wide. I don't know if a track like that is good, right? I don't know. But yeah, essentially expect to see Suzuka circuit here. and also with the same amount of laps as in the official calendar. That I kind of forgot how many there were, honestly. I don't think there were that many though. I think there were 30 something. Or maybe I'm completely mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. But yeah, the point is that you will see Suzuka circuit eventually. Might even be the last one, I mean, keep in mind that this is a Japanese game, so they are probably leaving that for last. Not to mention that I'm pretty sure that the track that is usually the last one, that is Yas Marina, I don't think that was invented in 2000. Like, it wasn't a thing in 2004, right? I'm not sure exactly when that track got built, but I'm pretty sure that it's not that... It's a very modern track, isn't it? Might be wrong though, it's not that modern. Well, regardless of if it's modern or not, Yas Marina is not in this game, so... The modernity doesn't seem to matter, because it's not gonna happen regardless. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually put the Suzuka race for last. Also, I'm not really gaining that much of an advantage here compared to the second place. Keep in mind that if I pit before these guys, that is a problem. Because I need a good enough advantage, and that's also an interesting pit stop here. It's all the way to the left after the final corner, but you have to brake quite a lot to get it. It's not gonna be that easy to enter without possibly making a disaster. Another thing that I check is that, remember that I mentioned the light in the middle of the car. Those are not supposed to be the brakes, apparently, but it was also, you know, off in the previous races as well, so if it's a bug that happened in every race. I think that's the light that they use when there is a safety car or something like that, though. I mean, that's the thing. If they weren't the brake lights, where are the brake lights? Because, I mean, you will have to have braking lights, you know, I will assume. Well, if they are supposed to be the brake lights, they don't work in the game. So I also know why they were permanently turned on in Le Mans. So yeah, I don't know. Not an expert at Formula 1, so wouldn't be able to answer that. So that race on Le Mans was pretty cool. Feels like this race can potentially be very cool as well, but we will see. Very early to tell. And I also don't know. Well, as always, we don't know when these guys are gonna pit in. They could pit in at the same time as me, or maybe not. Who knows? But my tires are resisting quite a lot. I think that it's what happens when you remove the driving aids, that you start steering the way the AI does. You don't really do corners that are overly, you know, overly dangerous. You should try to keep it, you know, slow. The moment you go overboard, you're gonna drift. And precisely because you're avoiding to drift is that you conserve the tires better. You know? So, It seems that this race is gonna take an hour and 20 minutes, I think, around that. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be as long as the ones in the previous trim. Seoul, on top of being an easy track, is also quite short, especially if you are using a fast car. Feel a little bit concerned about Hong Kong and if they decide to put Laguna Seca as well. Yes, I gotta assume that they will put Hong Kong. Like, it has to happen, most likely. And if they do put Hong Kong, I don't know if I will be very happy with disabling the driving aids. I feel like they are not gonna do Laguna Seca. That feels like an exaggeration. Like, a track like Laguna Seca for Formula 1 is a little bit ridiculous. They could do it, but I have my doubts. And then the other one being Opera Paris. Those are the ones I'm afraid of. So I'm not sure what lap I should pit stop. My tires are still in a relatively acceptable shape. Not by long, but seems that they are doing okay. Probably lap 16. Or maybe 15. Actually, the thing is that they will get orange very soon. But I'm not exactly sure how soon they will get orange. How soon are we talking about? Well, it seems that it will be quite soon. Lap 16 seems like it might be the right idea. This is also, by the way, a very short pit stop, so that in theory should mean that I don't need that big of an advantage in case they pit stop later. Like, those 22 seconds, I wouldn't be surprised if it's what the pit stop is gonna take. I don't know if I should wait here. No, I think I'm pitting in. Especially because I don't think that the advantage for not pitting in until next lap is gonna be that big. And if I do every 15, that's also easy to count. Like 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, and that's the last one. In that regard, I think that it's a good place to pit stop. I don't think these guys will do the same. No, they won't. They will resist a little bit more. How much longer is the question? Like, you have to pit in. Like, not just because of your tires, but because of your fuel. So you can delay it, but eventually there won't be any time to delay, Mr. Silver. Oops, my bad. So how is it going, Wasabi? Well, technically, it is the highest amount. No, it isn't. Motegi Oval had more. Pretty sure that Motegi Oval was 120 something. But it doesn't matter too much considering that, as you can see, every lap is more or less 45 seconds, so it ends up being okay, you know. I don't think it's that bad. Like, according to my calculations, this should take like an hour and 20 minutes. So shorter than some of the ones in the previous trim. We're just talking about lap count. I'm pretty sure Motegi had more. And it makes sense because it's an oval. That was close. So when are you pitting in? And they really are not pitting in, huh? Pretty interesting. I thought the tire consumption will be pretty close to them, but it appears it isn't. So I guess the thing with Le Mans was a fluke. But then again, Le Mans is a very peculiar track, so I don't think you can compare Le Mans with anything else, and especially not with a short track like this one. It seems that in that regard, the tire consumption is still gonna be higher on me than my opponents. But you have to pit in eventually, dude. As I say, you might be able to withstand the tires, but you cannot withstand the fuel. You will have to go in, delay it all you want. You cannot delay it forever. So, in my case, going to pits every 15 laps will mean 8 pit stops. If these guys go on 20, it will mean 5, which is significantly lower. But I mean, it's been the case in a couple of races like that, and I still demolish them, so I don't think it should matter much, but I would like to at least see them pit stop. It seems that they will wait until 20 after all, huh? It's a little bit weird. Little weirdos. But my advantage should be good enough to keep them in line regardless. I could get into an accident, obviously, but in a track like this, you will have to be completely distracted to get into an accident. And more importantly, if the accident is something that shouldn't take long to recover even. So yeah. If they don't pit in here, I don't know what to think. Other than cheat, no, they will pit in. So every 20 laps, huh? It's an interesting calculation. That means that they will pit in 5 times while I will pit in 8. Pretty funny, but I'll still win, you know. I'll win regardless. Oh, we have a hero. Look at that. We have a hero thinking he can withstand one more lap. And the interesting thing is that these guys are gonna have longer pit stops simply because they have to replenish way more fuel than I have to. It's not gonna be by that much, but it's gonna be long enough. Oh, I forgot to change the controls to look back. But then again, it's not like it's something that I use extremely often, so who cares? And instead of having it on L1, I have it on L2. Whatever. Not to mention, I was thinking that there might be a possibility for me to use manual transmission, but honestly, dude, I'm not gonna do manual transmission. And as I say, this is the easiest track in the game, so if I don't do it here, I won't do it in any other track, I can tell you that. Right. So we lapped this guy for the first time, pretty comfortably. Essentially, these races only look slightly scary at the beginning because you look at the fact that you have to pit in earlier and that you don't have an insane advantage to cover for that, but eventually that advantage comes and these guys will have to eat shit no matter what. So yeah, I think that I would like to keep this configuration. Like no driving aids for the rest of the championship, but again, heavily depends on 4 tracks that I always mention every time. Yeah. So honestly, I feel like in tracks like Hong Kong and Opera Paris, considering they are urban tracks, maybe I could still try like this. So they are tracks that have corners that are way more mean than this. That's the problem. And then Laguna Seca. If that track shows up, I think I'm not gonna be a hero, you know? Ah shit, accident. It's fine, don't worry. Well, my tires are the ones that should worry. I drifted a little bit. Well, and then Nurburgring is basically the perfect example of something that I probably will use every single driving aid there. Nurburgring is way too dangerous of a track. It's already dangerous with any other car, but even more so with Formula. Okay, we will see. Because I'm pretty sure that the Germany Grand Prix in Formula 1 happens in Nürburgring, but it's Nürburgring, well, precisely the Grand Prix variant, the one that is a normal track and not the monstrosity that Nordschleife is. So yeah, the thing is that track is not in this game. So it will be pretty fucked up that they still want to put Nürburgring regardless, but I think it's pretty possible. As much as I will not like it, I most likely will put the Nordschleife in here. We will see though. Now, I do wonder in how many other games this track came back, because I quite honestly don't remember it in any other Gran Turismo game. Like, I feel like this track exists in this game exclusively. But my memory, well, in fact, you know that the other day I dreamed about Gran Turismo 6, I think. Well, it was either 6 or 5, it was a PS3 one. And I dream about a track that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist. But it was such a nice track. It was basically like a snow mountain track, except that you still went... Like, it wasn't a rally track, it was still like a road track, but it was across the snow in a mountain. I'm pretty sure that track doesn't exist. But man, it looks so nice, and it really made me... You know how sometimes your brain likes to generate nostalgia of something that didn't happen? So it gave me nostalgia for that game. I mean, I am relatively nostalgic about the PS3 Gran Turismo games, simply because they were like more than 10 years ago, and they are very good games. But the thing is that I'm nostalgic about a track that doesn't exist. But yeah, pretty funny. But hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe it does exist. The thing about these games, and especially the PlayStation 3 Gran Turismos, is that they have so much content that good luck remembering it all. Like, they have an insane amount of content. You're most likely not gonna remember it all together. Well, all together, I mean that you're not gonna remember all of it. But you never know. Could happen. I mean, there can be people that... You see, there is one thing. I play a lot of different games, so when I try to remember things specifically from one game, it's not that easy for me, but there are a lot of people that play the same game every single day. And some of those people, even though not a majority of people, I would assume, but they could be playing the PS3 Gran Turismo games. And those people will know exactly what those games have and what they don't, since they see them every day. So usually with people that play the same game every day, it tends to be multiplayer games. Well, and that game had multiplayer, but it's obviously dead now. As is every game with multiplayer in PS3. I don't know if they will have a server in the emulator, because some games do have server in the PS3 emulator that will emulate the online play, so it could be, I don't know. Now, something that I want to happen today for this championship is I want the second race of the day to have like nighttime or something like that. Because so far, every race happened on daytime. But I want something different. Like I want a sunset or night. So for night you have both Hong Kong and Special Stage. I think that those are the only ones with that. In this game, that is. And when it comes to sunset, there was only one with sunset. I don't remember which one it was. Which one was it? Was it the Seattle one? I think it was that one. Maybe. Probably. Yeah, that one had sunset even in this game. Well, I know it's that Laguna Seca doesn't. Even though it did have it in, well, either the previous game or the one before. So I know that there are some signs in the background with Korean, like in the very far background, but I don't think it will be immediately obvious to assume that this was Seoul if you don't pay attention to the backgrounds. Not to mention that some backgrounds are also quite low resolution, you know. Yeah, it's even harder to tell at that point. Well, not like New York will be extremely easy to assume that it's New York, but I mean, I guess that applies to pretty much any of the urban tracks in this game. Because, I mean, Hong Kong, you see that there are some signs in Chinese, but it's whatever. I'm gonna recover the lap in here. So the gap between us is gonna be even more fucked up in 3 laps when they pit in. was also a weird break. Basically just leaning to the right. Oh, also, speaking of that, you know that I've been trying to see if one of the next games I can play is like the Hot Shot Golf game, well, franchise, starting with PS1, but I don't know. That game seems very hard. I mean, the Hot Shots game in the PS Vita was hard, but like that one I'm already on the first course, and I'm already getting my ass kicked very badly. So that's a problem. That's only the first one, there are more. Well, not to mention that of course every course is just like any golf game, it's 18 holes. So it's also very long. And the moment you mess up, you can ruin the whole thing. And there is no way to retry a specific hole, you know? I mean, kinda like in this game, you are not supposed to retry a race in the tournament if you fuck it up. You can do it because you can save mid-tournament, but it's kinda not the intention. But in the other game it's even worse because it doesn't even save in between holes. I think it only saves when you reach the halfway point of the championship, like 9 holes. After the 9th hole, I think you can save there. But yeah, aside from that, you kinda have to do it all properly in one go. Oh, speaking of go, oh yeah, never mind, this is lap 40. You should go to pits on this one. I've also been investigating about the Formula cars in Gran Turismo 3. Apparently their tire usage is very bad. And you know that in that game already the tire usage and especially the oil usage was very bad. But if somehow the wiki says that the tire usage is bad, I gotta say that I am afraid because I don't know what to expect from that. And no one is stopping aside from the leader. Well, the leader. I mean, I'm the leader, but the leader of the CPU. That's an interesting development. So these guys are gonna stretch the pit stop even more. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go beyond a lap, but quite messed up. It already feels like you're stretching it a lot as it is. Seems like you can stretch it even more. Very crazy. Hey, now seems that all of them are going in. This is, by the way, the first place. Now being lapped twice. That wasn't a good overtake at all. Whatever, who cares? Though there is still one guy that has still no pit stop. He thinks that he can take it all. Wants to go for the lead. If I keep doing stuff like that, it might not be that hard for you to get the lead. God damn it. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Especially common with very sharp corners like this one. I gotta say that I'm drifting quite a lot right now. Like I'm in a drift competition, but no, this is a formula race. It seems that we have a new second place now. Instead of the silver guy, it seems like it's the blue guy. Well, blue-purple, I'm not sure. Looks like both, really. No, it seems that it's more purple than blue, right? I don't know how you see it, but I personally feel like it's more purple than blue. It's basically a color that is kind of in between the two of them. It's around there. Kinda. Wow, that rear left tire is not doing well. It's only 2 more corners that you have to resist. You can do that. There we go. Alright. It seems that already, well, you could see like quite some laps are over. This is gonna be quite free. This will definitely be one of those. Yeah, at this point I'm just curious to see what other tracks are gonna show up. Just wanna see it with my own eyes what kind of messed up combinations are gonna show up. Because by combinations I mean both the track and the lap count. It can be very evil. At least we already know what the Suzuka one is gonna be like. I mean, if Suzuka somehow doesn't show up, it will be quite fucked up. I do wonder if any of the other tracks in this game was active in the Formula 1 calendar of 2004, aside from Suzuka and Monaco. Hard to tell. It's quite curious how this track looks like a kitchen knife for some reason. Like it was made on purpose. Well, it could either be that or a flag that has been like rolled. Very well defined shape. I also think I remember in the Gran Turismo World Championship of this game that you play this track but in reverse, right? I think that you actually play quite a lot of tracks in reverse in that championship for some weird reason. But why not? So the next pit stop should be the same one for me and for the CPU. Well, most likely only for that guy there. So I'm assuming that the other guys will try to extend it a little bit more like they've been doing. Yeah, we probably are gonna stop on the same lap as the gray guy. Looking at it right now, this actually will take more than an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe closer to an hour and a half. I think that's mostly because of the pit stops. That will make it get close to that. We're lapping the leader twice now. I think that at this point, at least to make the races interesting for me, the best thing I can do is simply disabling the driving aids, because it's not gonna make them a lot more balanced. I'm still gonna destroy these guys, but at least it does require me to think every corner. If I was using the driving aids by default, like, I wouldn't even be thinking right now. I will be going on autopilot. Because right now I can tell you that I'm not really that much in autopilot. Well, that was a PB, by the way. Nice. Okay, proof that it was an autopilot, you know. I was looking at the wrong side. Almost took that corner to the left. By the way, another game that I've been looking to play is Mega Man 9 on the superhero mode, that apparently is like a super hard difficulty that is gonna kick your ass a lot. And that sounds dangerous, especially because Mega Man 9 by default is not that much of an easy game, but I don't know, we will see. It's probably something that will take a lot of time to beat, simply because I might get my ass kicked quite a lot. But that's fine. Yeah, I'm still not sure what will be the next thing that I would like to stream. The only thing that I'm sure of is that the moment I finish this championship, I will start playing Drive Club, without a doubt. Yeah, aside from that, the games that I play in between these championship streams, I still don't know what they will be. I like that little diagonal wall that you get at the end of the final corner. It's supposed to make you precisely use that to get the most speed possible on the corner exit. Instead of that, it was a wall that got close, well, closer to the corner. You wouldn't be able to do that. And if it was angled differently, it would also probably not be that possible to do that maneuver. That is very useful. You even have a piano on the outside that you can write to. And to think that, to me, doing it every 15 laps feels like stretching it. Like I should be doing every 14 instead. It's quite crazy how this guy supposedly stretch it so much. This CPU is cheating. That's my conclusion. These guys are not playing this legally. They are colluding. Pretty sad if they are cheating and still losing this badly, you know. But yeah, I clearly I'm in control. No problem. So if they wanted to make this as close to the Formula 1 as possible, I feel like they should have made the pit stop super fast, dude. Because it's pretty clear that they want to make this like a pseudo simulation of Formula 1. They could at least have put the pit stops to be also that fast. Because maybe in 2004 the pit stops were not as fast as now, but they were still very fast. Also, how is it going, Kyle? I'm just hearing the easiest track in the game, the almighty Seoul. It's a friend of every... oh shit. I actually lost my reference with that guy being in front of me. It was fucked up. Every time that I have to overtake someone before a corner is a little bit hard to do so. Well, first of all, because you usually are in an uncomfortable position, since you cannot really take the corner optimally, but also because it really feels like they try to annoy you as much as possible, try to distract you and get in the way. I guess getting in the way also applies to that. Also, you know, Kyle, since you are an ex-League of Legends player, you know that a new MOBA released today. It's a Dragon Ball MOBA. You might be interested on it. Probably not, though. It's free. You know, I don't know if you will want to go back to your MOBA origins, especially after so much time having passed since the last time that you play League, you know? Though speaking of League, another thing that came out is the beta of the League of Legends fighting game. That's like exchanging cocaine for Fent. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna judge if you wanna do that. Hey, what about that game? Oh, actually, you say that since it essentially has Vanguard as well, like, yeah, what's the point? At that point you will be playing League of Legends instead. Yeah, apparently that game, you know what I like about that game? Is that it has a 2v2 mode where you can play with someone else as your teammate, the same way that Mortal Kombat 9 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken has. Your teammate is fighting alongside you. I feel like that's super cool. And it's something that for some reason was lacking in a lot of games. Well, pretty much every game that has team fighters, they don't really implement that. Except of those two exceptions that I mentioned, most of them don't really bother. Not to mention that they aren't done with that in mind. But this one seems to be done with that in mind. So I feel like that is cool. So it's still in beta and you still need to get invited, so it's not at the point where I could, you know, play it if I wanted to. But it also doesn't seem extremely interesting, the way the mechanics work. And after all, keep in mind that it's a fighting game without motion inputs, and also with, you know, the typical long combos that tag games tend to have. And you know that I'm not a fan of long combos, especially when probably a lot of people can do them, since you don't need any input for the special moves. You need the timing though. Rather play Soku or Blaze Blue. It's understandable. Hey, I don't know what's gonna be the future of 2XKO, 2Cox. I don't know. For now, it seems that a lot of people are interested, but it's mostly because it's a new game, right? I don't know how it's gonna look like in the future. Keep in mind that a game like Valorant released quite some time ago and it's still doing strong. This one, it's just very hard to tell. Considering especially that it's a fighting game. I mean, if that wasn't enough, the fact that it has so little characters, you know? Especially considering that it's a 2v2 tag game. You're gonna get old pretty quickly to have the same characters every time, over and over again, so hard to tell how it's gonna what's gonna perform in the future. If it's gonna be a staying title or if it's gonna die. I don't think I personally care either way. I managed to trade some Xbox vouchers for a beta. How the fuck do I use this thing? You have to turn on the console and, you know, then navigate. You know that it's mostly kinda like mobile phones. The way the menus work and all of that is kinda as if you were using Android. How the menus are essentially little square options. Also gotta keep in mind that there is a touch screen on the back as well as the front. But that's another relevant information, I guess. Perhaps. Aside from that, I don't know what else to tell you on how to use a beta. Not like I use it too much anyways. Also, if you ask for game recommendations, I don't really have many in the first place, so there's that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you did already have some games you plan to play. Completely lost control there. Keep in mind that this is one lap before I need to pit in. Quite crazy how the tires don't forgive here. They really don't. No forgiveness whatsoever. It really tempts me to pit in right now, but I won't. I'm already dominating anyways. What is this song? I don't remember hearing it here before. Which one? The one that is playing right now? I mean, I don't know how it's called. I think the chorus says something about being the one. Yeah, this one played quite a lot of times. If you ask me what the name is, I have no clue. I don't think I'm American enough for that. But yeah, this song played a lot of times. Well, it's just like every other one in the game, you know. They have happened. You can hear it a little bit now. It even has like a trumpet. Well, not really a trumpet. It's more like a trombone. I don't know exactly what instrument it is. You know that I'm also not an expert in music. Whatever that instrument is, it has that. Well, maybe it's a saxophone. Would be. You gotta understand that outside of Free Will Burning and Panama, I don't know any of the names of the songs in this game. Well, and also not listening. Those are the only 3 songs that I know the name of. You will have to look at... Well, actually, I was gonna say, you should look at Gran Turismo 4 OST and go one by one the songs, but yeah, doesn't seem like a very good idea, if you ask me. It's a very nice way to get burnout, but I wouldn't recommend it. And every time I have a car in front of me, I fuck up that corner so badly. It's not like it's an easy corner in the first place, but with another car it's a lot worse. But I did that chicane very well. I wonder if this is gonna be a PB. It would be nice because I haven't done a PB in a very long time. Is it gonna be? Yeah, actually a PB, nice. 43.0. Pretty cool. So you know that I checked the time that I did in Monaco the previous stream, and the time that the winner of this year Formula 1 did in Monaco, and we basically have like a 7-minute difference. Like he's faster than me for 7 minutes, by 7 minutes I mean. I think, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you have to try guessing who won in a specific race in today's Formula 1, the most likely answer is Max Verstappen, but I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't really pay that much attention to who was the winner. Didn't really care too much. Am I gonna be too greedy if I try to go for another PB here? It wasn't a PB, but it was very close. Definitely doing some very fast laps, without a doubt. So this is the second place. We're gonna go back at 3 laps. Well, not to mention this guy should be pitting in right now. You should be pitting in. Well, actually no, hold up, never mind. I mean, he's lapped by... Oh no, he will pit in. That's interesting, because he's lapped by 3 times, by 3 laps, so... He's technically not in lap 80, he's like 79 or something. So the silver guy actually managed to overtake. He managed to to hold on for longer. You will probably have to pit stop here anyways. Yeah. It's interesting because the second place is constantly being contested by multiple cars. It's the reason why you don't see a single CPU car in the lead constantly. You have a lot of different ones. Yeah, I think that the points in the championship are the least important thing. The most important thing for the championship for me is to essentially win every race. Because if I don't win a race, it will mean that I will have to redo it later. I mean, that's not a problem in most championships, but in a championship with races like this, I will say it is a problem. It is quite a big problem. But probably not the greatest idea. Oof. Almost drifted. That was a nice overtake. I do have to change the controls after this race because it feels very awkward to look back using L1. I mean L2 instead of L1. That's something I definitely wanna change. Another thing that I've been thinking of doing is playing the F-Zero games again, but with like different machines. I could do that. Honestly, there are many things I have in mind, but my problem is that it's pretty hard for me to decide what I wanna play. That's my biggest issue always. What do I wanna play? I don't know. Too many options and too little decisions. And this is turning into quite some messed up destruction. I think that at this point, whether I use driving aids or not makes almost no difference. I mean, it is true that this is a short track, so getting an advantage of 4 laps is easier, but goddamn. Play the Shrek racing game? No, I don't think I will. I mean, the thing is that F-Zero is... I mean, here's the thing. I'm doubting those options involving racing games because I feel like playing a racing game in between a racing game. Because you know that my idea right now is to play games in between every stream of this championship, right? Just to not make it so dull with me. Or rather to not be... So it's not dual for me, that's what I meant to say. So I don't know if playing a racing game is a good idea. Obviously, ideas like F-Zero or, well, Shrek Racing game, those games are quite different than Gran Turismo. I even thought of doing a Crash Nitro kart with the villain team, since I haven't done it with the villain team. I done it with the hero team. So that's another thing that I thought, and they are games that are quite different from this. So even if they are racing games, I don't think it matters too much. But yeah, I don't know. Oh shit! Nice drift. Come on, dude. It was only one more corner that you had to hold on. Was it that hard for you? Come on, no. The pit stop is right there, for fuck's sake. Holy shit. That's what happens when your tires are gone. They start not listening to what you tell them. Fucking assholes. Glad that I have like a 4 or 3 lap advantage, so it doesn't matter, but then. Without cars. I mean, you know that at this point, I feel like a very long time ago, if someone asked me what my favorite video game genre was, I would obviously say platforming games. But honestly, I feel that lately I'm very inclined to say racing games. Like the way I enjoy racing games, I feel like does not compare with almost any other genre, including platforming games. And the thing about platforming games is that saying platforming games is something very wide. You could think about classics like Mega Man, and you could think about things that deviate a little bit more like Metroidvanias. And then you could think of, I don't know, shit like that is more story oriented. And there's also the fact that they are 2D platformers and 3D platformers. And a lot of them varying a lot when it comes to mechanics and how they feel to play. You can say the same about racing games, but for the most part racing games, at least to me, they tend to give me the same satisfaction feeling to play it. I think that the game will have to be too shit for me to not enjoy it, assuming it's a racing game. So I don't know, dude. I feel like if you ask me right now, I will say racing games are my favorite video game genre. Because, you know, of the ones that I mentioned in my description, you know that I mentioned that the likely genres you're gonna find are platforming, fighting, Danmaku, and racing. Of those genres, I can guarantee you fighting is not my favorite one. Danmaku, or well, shoot 'em ups in general, are also not more than platformers or racing. So at that point, it's basically between platformer and racing. And at that point, as I said, a long time ago, or maybe a not so long time ago, I would have said platformers, but I feel like honestly when I say platformers, the first and probably one of the only games that comes to mind is Mega Man. I really like the Mega Man series, well, at least the OG Mega Man series and the first half of it. I really like those games. So when you have to include games like, I don't know, Hollow Knight or Ori and the Forest or shit like that, it's like, okay, but they are not the games that I will be like, oh shit, what a game. Or well, for example, things like, wait, what example was I thinking of? Was thinking of a very specific example that I think was gonna drive the point very easily, but now I forgot about it. Well, regardless, the thing about platforming games is that even though some of the games that I like the most are platforming games, it's also true that there are a lot of platforming games that I don't really like. Well, Mario is the perfect example. The 2D Mario games, I don't like them, and they are essentially the definition of a platforming game. I mean, I do like the 3D Mario games a little bit more, but the thing is that compared to Mega Man, it's nothing when it comes to how much I like them. But on the other hand, when I think of racing games, obviously this one is a bad example because the Gran Turismo series is essentially like one of the best racing game franchises that exist. Like Gran Turismo is up there at the top. So it's usually not a good point of comparison because you're comparing like the best of the best. But I feel like even mediocre racing games, I like them too. I mean, don't forget that I played some very weird ass games for the Nintendo 64 like not so long ago on stream. Games like a Beetle Challenge. I don't remember exactly the name of the game, but it was a game that you use the Volkswagen Beetle to race on very weird tracks. And then another one called California Racing or something like that. Those games are not bad, but they are pretty weird. I wouldn't call them mediocre. Well, a lot of people probably would call them mediocre, and it would be understandable, but to me they are simply nice games. They are nothing extremely out of the ordinary. They are very enjoyable though, and that's the thing. If instead those were platforming games with that quality, I don't know if I would enjoy them the way I enjoy those. Because again, you show those games to most people, and I feel like unless they are also racing game fans, they are probably gonna look at them and mediocre is the best word that they are gonna use. They could probably use a lot worse words than that, you know? So the fact that I enjoy those games so much despite that makes me think that in reality my favorite video game genre is racing games. I mean, I'm saying all of this and giving all these examples, but I think the fact that I'm doing races like this and I don't mind, like a 113 lap race that takes an hour and a half to complete, I think that should tell you enough of what I think of racing games, you know? But yeah, I gotta say that, you know, thinking it more deeply, I probably gotta say that racing games are my favorite genre of video games. And I probably should no longer say platforming games. I mean, even things like Toy Story Racer on PS1, to me, like that game is fantastic to me. Well, it's also very nostalgic for a lot of other people that played as kids, but I mean, even playing it not so long ago, like I think I played like, what, 2 years ago on stream, and I still loved it. Like, there were some things that I saw and was like, yeah, that's bullshit, but I really enjoy playing it, even now. And as, like, you can say that I have nostalgia, but I feel like when you're nostalgic about something, you enjoy it the first hour and then it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll do something else. But in my case, I went all in and fully beat the game. Fully beat every single event there is on the game. Assuming you do that, it's not particularly short. But obviously it's not the length of games like the Gran Turismo ones, but it's not a short game by any means. And I beat it all and I like it. But yeah, I guess that to nobody's surprise, I gotta say that my favorite video game genre right now are racing games. And maybe in some day in the future it's gonna change. Maybe it's my favorite genre now in 2025, and maybe in 2030 my favorite genre are, I don't know, shoot 'em ups again. I kinda doubt it though. Nothing against shoot 'em ups, but to say that shoot 'em ups are my favorite genre, yeah, nah. I mean, it's kind of like saying that, because here's the thing. If Project Diva was a video game genre, I could tell you that's my favorite genre. Because I enjoy Project Diva to no end. The fact that I'm still playing it, even though the first time that I played it was like, what, 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm still playing it, maybe not with the same frequency, but I don't really play any other game as frequently as Project Diva. On stream, I mean, you can see that I play shit like Ragnarok off stream, but when it comes to on stream, I play Project Diva quite often. In fact, I plan on playing it tomorrow. Mega Mids, not Eds. I wanna save that one for later, but I really wanna play Mega Mids tomorrow, so that's the thing. If Project Diva was a game genre, I could tell you that one is my favorite. But no, the genre is rhythm game, and yeah, rhythm games I don't really care that much about them. I played some Dance Dance Revolution when I was a kid, and when I was like, you know, in high school I played, well, I don't know if high school or actually after graduation I played Osu a little bit. But aside from that, I don't really have a big connection with rhythm games. It's exclusively Project Diva. Project Diva is there. It's very high. I mean, it's what I say in some other stream, that if someone asks me what's my favorite video game, I forget about genre, I'm talking about individual video game. Maybe I would say Project Diva, well, particularly Mega Mids, you know, if I had to be specific. I probably will say that simply because of how much I played versus how long ago I started playing it. And the fact that every time I played, I enjoyed it. And it's one of the only games, because you know that there are games that I like that piss me off sometimes. Oh shit. I mean, an accident in pits? Never mind, he disappeared there. Don't worry, he went to another universe. He didn't like this conversation, so he popped out of its system. That guy, that racer doesn't like Project Diva. He didn't want to hear it. But you know, the point is that a lot of games that I like piss me off. Well, a good example is this same game in some of the championships that, like, you remember that championship with the Tommy Kaira opponent that pissed me off so much. So I get mad sometimes at games like this, even though I like them, and that's normal. But Project Diva is a game that I feel like I almost never get mad at. I mean, the other day that I was tryharding World Thunder Rangers, I tryharded quite a bit, but I cannot really say that I got mad at it, since I already knew what I was expecting. But yeah, that's the thing about Project Diva. In terms of enjoyment, it feels like it's one of the individual games that I just enjoy the most. It's simply the way it is. In terms of genre, I think that my conclusion is indeed that racing games have to be my favorite one. And I mean, it makes sense. I think that my earliest memory of playing video games was playing Rage Racer on the PS1. Because you know that before the PS1 I did play in games like the Sega Genesis and the MSX, but I barely remember. Well, the Sega Genesis I do remember. It's just that I also remember that even though I play those games... Well, actually, hold up. I just unlock a memory. On the Sega Genesis there was a game that I played when I was a kid that was a racing game. It was called something like, I think, Mario Andretti's Challenge for the Sega Genesis. That game, I played it quite a lot, and I remember loving the fact that you could pit in. That was pretty fun. Like, yes, a game on the Sega Genesis was advanced enough to allow pitting in. And you might be thinking, well, it probably was one of those top-down games that you saw the cars from above and they barely had anything going for them, but no. It had this perspective, like the typical chase perspective that racing games have. So it was a game that was very advanced for the time, and I remember playing it as a kid and loving it. So when I think about it, like, actually one of my earliest memories of playing video games was a racing game. I mean, aside from that, especially in the Sega Genesis, there were a lot of platformers. Like, you had stuff like, you know, I had a Tiny Toons game, a game also from the Animaniacs, or whatever you pronounce that in English. You know, basically the Looney Tune guys that are supposed to be like the kid versions of Looney Tunes. I think I also played DuckTales too, but that's something that I will never be sure about. Because I remember playing a game that was how the three little guys, the ducks, but I don't know if it was DuckTales or not. I mean, definitely not NES DuckTales, but like, I think it was DuckTales 2, maybe. Like, I remember playing that. Well, I also remember playing like a game about the Tasmanian Devil, which was bizarre, pretty bizarre. Oh, also I just realized, when I say that about I'm confusing two different things. Animaniacs is one thing and Tiny Toons is another. Tiny Toons is the one that is supposed to be like the kid version of the Looney Tunes. Animaniacs is some different weird thing about some... I don't know what they were supposed to be. Were they rats? Were they rabbits? I don't remember what animal they were. Some weird guy. It's a weird cartoon and an even weirder game. I remember playing that as a kid. So the thing is that even though there are a lot of platforming games that I remember as a kid, racing games are also there. So I guess it's not a surprise that the two of them will be my favorite genres after all. Well, that aside, guess what? This is the final lap. Just like that, talking about video games and shit, and it's the final lap. The race seems like it's gonna take a little bit less than an hour and a half, but mostly an hour and a half. That's fine by me, I don't really mind. It seems like the guy that is gonna end in second place will be none other than the purple car. But I guess the silver car got caught. I don't know if he's in third place or not. I mean, who gives a shit, right? But we will see. Okay. Just like that. Checker flag, and we cross the finish line. Boom. So So who got third place? It was the silver guy. Those two guys seem to be at the top most of the times. Just the way it is. That was free. And again, keep in mind that this was without the driving aid, so it would have been a lot more free without them. So yeah. Car looks so innocent when it's going at a limited speed. Yeah, the moment you let it go full speed, it's not very innocent. So first of all, we're gonna autosave, of course. And then... well, in case something happens to the game, I think it's always a good idea to have a save state just in case, I don't know, the game blows up in the middle of a race. Blows up, I mean crash or something. Well, even if it happens, you will just reload the autosave, but whatever. Oh, we're going to Sonoma, the NASCAR version. Okay, before I do that though, let me change the controls so I can have L1 to look back. So as you can see here, I changed it R1 and L1 for manual transmission, but since I'm not gonna do it, I don't give a shit. So let's put it back to where it was at the beginning. I'm pretty sure these are not the default controls. Well, you can see the defaults by pressing default, but it's how I am used to use them. Well, in games like this, I mean. So, with that done, let's just go to Sonoma real quick. So, this is also a relatively easy track. Not that big of a deal. Without racing aid, some corners here, especially the two hairpins that this thing has, are probably gonna be problematic. But I don't think we should worry too much about that. I mean, after all, with how well the previous race went, I think right now I have a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence that, keep in mind, it might be misguided. I mean, after all, this is not an urban track, so that means that a mistake here will actually make you waste time instead of just giving you like a tap in the shoulder, right? Like, here you will lose time if you fuck up. These corners that you're seeing here, like these very sharp hairpins, will be the troublemakers, but I think it's fine. Alright. And we get first place already. We'll have tried to resist a little bit more, don't you? I guess he didn't want to. Hey, I think that even this hairpin, as long as you very slowly like work up the accelerator, you should be fine. Now, this is shaping up to be quite a long race. Assuming the average lap time is gonna be close to 1 minute 15 seconds or something like that. We are looking at probably an hour and 40 minutes. Easily. Well, this also has the potential to be the longest race in the championship so far, because so far the longest race has been Monaco with an hour and 46 minutes, I think. Not 100% sure, but it was something like that. So this one could be around that. I don't know, I obviously cannot do the maths on the fly, but I think it's around that. At least the good thing about this track is that the corner entry is easy, but it's easy simply because you get into automatic driving as soon as you go past the wall. But I think in the inside it's not supposed to be that straightforward. Here it's pretty clear that if I was using something like manual transmission, the race will be more interesting from the point of view of the result, as I will be a lot closer to get overtaken by the other guys. But oh my bad. But I think that at the same time it wouldn't be very enjoyable. Like having to constantly pay attention to the shifts. I mean, I didn't mind it that much in Monaco eventually, but I couldn't really relax. Here I can more or less relax. Probably not as much as if I had driving aids, but at some point you kinda get used to how you're supposed to do the corners. You take them a lot more carefully, so I don't really think it's a big deal. And also keep in mind that again, any accident in a track like this can easily make you lose a very significant amount of time, so that factor is always there. Ah shit, that was close. Yeah, I feel like this will be very similar in length to the Monaco race. Probably gonna be up there. I think it's also the longer version of this track. In this game you have two variants. This one is supposed to be the longest one. It makes sense. The cone ended up going there. I wonder if that's what would happen in real life if you hit one of the cones like that, or if it will simply get splattered in the ground. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the angle and how hard, like what's the material of the cone, right? Ah shit. When I say accidents, I mean stuff like that. Something like that makes you lose a lot of time. So you always have to be ready for stuff like that. It's the reason why if on top of this I add manual transmission, I feel like it's a little bit too much. It's the danger of I mean, maybe not of losing, but of, you know, being very close to the guys behind is always there. And of course, keep in mind that, as always, I'm most likely gonna pit in before them. In fact, I'm most likely gonna pit in on the next lap. Lap number 7. And if it is every 7 laps, that will mean that I will have to pit stop 10 times again. Well, again, no. In the previous one it was 9 times, right? Or was it? No, it was 8. No, it was every 15. I'm bad at maths. No, it was every. It was 8 pit stops, right? Maybe it was 7. No, it was actually 7. Never mind. So I guess I miscalculated back then too. Pretty funny. But here being 10 pit stops seems like quite a lot, don't you think? But it's because, as I say, this will be a long race. So 10 pit stops is a lot because it's a long race, so it adds up. It also knocks some other cones down. It's okay, don't worry about it. I need you to resist until... damn it, you're making me waste so much time, and I already will waste time here when I enter pits. God damn it, dude, that's bad. That's very bad. Actually, there you... Obviously, you have auto driving after you get into the pit lane, but it is not an easy pit lane, all things considered. You pretty much have to brake you have to brake a lot. That's actually bad. I will have to focus a little bit more here if I don't wanna be left behind. And I don't know how often these guys will pit. But I know that I will pit every 7 laps, and I already was struggling at that point. So it's not like I can extend it further. Like 7 is the best I can do. So this might be a problem, but only at the beginning. I feel like this is not gonna go further than that. Once I get more used to the track, don't worry, we're gonna be 100% fine, right? I think Sonoma is actually the perfect test for this. Because it's not an urban track, so that means that you're not gonna be saved by the walls. And at the same time, it's an easy enough track that the results are not gonna be devastating when you get an accident. Like, it's still gonna slow you down a lot, all things considered, but you can still recover. And if it was Hong Kong, it wouldn't be like that probably. Well, not Hong Kong. Forget about Hong Kong since it's an urban track. If it was something like Laguna Seca, it wouldn't be the case. But yeah, I think this track is the perfect test for how much I can push for this, like, no driving aid stuff. Same. Maybe I am indeed getting very cocky and I need to tone down the cockiness a little bit. We will see. A shame that you cannot, in case things go very badly, a shame that you cannot change the driving aids in pits, but yeah, obviously that wouldn't make any sense. I mean, unless the driving aids are purely electronic and it's a matter of like disabling or enabling a setting in the car, you are not just gonna change them on a pit stop, obviously. Clearly. So these guys are resisting a lot, without a doubt. The guy is still pretty close to me. Well, on the bright side, I'm gonna overtake the first place before he pits in, probably. Well, unless he pits in on this lap. If he pits in this lap, he's gonna do 7 pit stops. So, there's that. If he pits on the other one, he's only gonna do 6. Which is quite an insane difference in terms of pit stops. No, he will pit in this lap, so that means a total of 7 pit stops for the CPU. versus 10 of me. You can see him right there on the left side. Well, I'll say it's not that terrible, but yeah, it requires me to keep it steady and not make any stupid accidents like the ones we already saw. And the problem is that those accidents, I cannot really say that there were because I was careless. Like, they just happened because they happened. They just had to happen, you know? So in that regard, I feel that it's a problem. Well, I hope you remember the 7 multiplication table, because we're gonna be using here to know when to pit stop. Obviously the next one it's at 14. Essentially gonna be 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63 and 70. That's how it's gonna be. I actually didn't really get them by memory. I got them by adding. I mean, it's not like I don't remember the 7 multiplication table, but right there I did it simply by adding 7. So it's logical, but I wonder how much the pit stop lasts. To more or less calculate what will be a comfortable distance with the second place, because I'm not very sure. It could be 30 full seconds to do the pit stop. See, for example, wow, and that completely... Damn, that obliterated my tire so badly. And it's not like I did it on purpose. See, those are the kind of accidents I don't understand. Why did that happen? I feel like I was just driving normally, but the car decided to, nope, you're not driving normally now. That sucks, because as I say, that is a lot of tire wear from drifting like that. Like, basically, it couldn't be a worse accident for my tires. In terms of time wasted, it was also bad. Honestly, it was like an optimally bad accident. It's like it was the worst possible to make it sure that I get damaged the most. See, I lost 10 seconds there. Understandable. That's fucked up. I don't really understand why it happened. It just felt like happening. And now the problem is that I will have to deal with a very annoying tire for a whole lap. Because that rear left tire is gonna be a bother. I mean, it already is being a bother here, and the final lap of the stint hasn't even started. Yeah, and corners like that are also... you can see what's happening now is precisely because of that tire. It probably wouldn't have gotten that bad if it wasn't for that drifting accident, but it's possible that something similar to the final lap of the previous stint happens here, which is me drifting out before I get to the pits and wasting a lot of time. Because that is definitely not a good color for a tire. It certainly is not. I guess I will try to take these corners here more like slower, right? Okay. That at least wasn't as bad as the previous attempt. Alright. But then you gotta be so careful on that last sequence of corners. Like those fast corners at the end are really super dangerous, even if you have healthy tires. They are still something that will potentially kick your ass very badly. On the right side here, I'm gonna get out of pits, still on first place, so I think that for the most part we are fine. But, I mean, the problem still resides on accidents. Accidents are gonna be what's gonna define my dominance on this race. Well, my dominance or my lack of dominance. It could be either. Could be either of those. But I like that. I like the fact that as dominant as you are, you know that if you have enough accidents, all that dominance is gonna go down the toilet. And it's something that if I had the driving aids disabled will not happen, because with the driving aids the chances of getting into an accident are very low. I mean, they are not zero obviously, but they are quite something. I think that with the exception of Nurburgring and Laguna Seca, I think that I do want to keep going like this for the rest of the championship. And I still feel that Laguna Seca is not gonna be a track. I feel like they will realize that making Formula 1 driving Laguna Seca is not a good idea, but I don't know. Well, keep in mind that they had that Motegi Oval race, so I think whether something it's a good idea or not, I don't think they care too much about it. I think in that regard, it's whatever. So I think that I mostly understand what's the issue with that final sequence of corners. I think that in the very final fast corner, you don't need to brake. What you're supposed to do is to play with the accelerator. Now you want to lift the accelerator slightly, but you don't want to brake. I'm specifically talking about this corner here. Right there I didn't brake, I simply lifted the accelerator. I think that's what you wanna do, because the moment you brake, it seems that every time that I use the brakes, I either had an accident or it looked very close to an accident. So yeah, I guess if you want to avoid that, then that's my advice of what not to do. Truth is that this final section of this track... Okay, never mind. It's not about braking or not. Seems that even when you just leave the accelerator, that corner fucks you up. But I think that, ironically, that's because of automatic transmission. Like, automatic transmission, they're downshift, and that makes the car go insane as expected. This is probably one of those cases where manual transmission will be the superior option. Because if instead of downshifting to 6, you stayed in 7 there, it wouldn't be a problem. Maybe you will be theoretically slower, I don't know, but it will definitely be safer than downshifting in the middle of such an insanely fast corner, you know? I guess you just gotta be extra careful with that. Like, whether you leave the accelerator or brake, you just gotta do that shit with extra care. It's a very fucked up corner. Man, come on. How did you even lose control there? I would like to know. Those are the accidents that can always happen and are always a factor no matter what. I know that at this point the tires are not doing very hot and all of that, but like, come on, dude. It's still a little bit far from orange. Well, not that far, but it shouldn't have done that there. I mean, I hate the fact that the last lap every single time will be such a clusterfuck, but you know that the alternative is essentially doing 12 pit stops instead of 10. So I think that that's a worse alternative. But yeah, the final lap of every stint will always be a clusterfuck because of that damn rear left tire always going into orange territory. It will always be a problem. So at least it seems that the CPU will always pit in at the same time. Doesn't seem to be many heroes this time around, so at least it's nice that their behavior is predictable. Alright. Yeah, you can see that the tires at the end of the stint, like the rear left tire is almost red, and the other one is orange. Like, they are in a very sorry ass state by the time you need to pit in, you know? It's not a joke. We will see. For now, this has to be the strategy, you know? Cannot be anything else. Yeah, I guess it's a matter... You can afford a couple of accidents. I guess it's a matter of not doing like 5 accidents in a stint or something like that. as long as you can more or less keep the control, you should be fine. It seems that this is also another situation where my opponent is probably only gonna be lapped once. Well, in Monaco I think they got lapped twice actually. But here I will be surprised if I manage to lap them twice. I feel like it's gonna happen once and then never again. Regardless, I'm still pretty fucked up about the fact that this is gonna be an hour and 40 minutes race. Also, wow, I keep going off track and I don't know why. The problem is that doing that, even though it doesn't wear the tires down that badly, the acceleration from a very slow speed definitely does. So the fun fact here is that my opponents are pitting every 10 laps and I am doing every 7, which means that we are only gonna pit in on the same lap on the very last pit stop. It won't be sooner than that. It will be only on the very last one. That's because 7 and 10 are only divisible when they are in 70. It's the only time where they can both be divided by the same number. Same number aside from 1, of course. I know that this is extremely random, but I was thinking about multiplications and divisions, and it's still pretty crazy to me the whole concept of dividing by 0. I mean, the fact that it's even a concept to begin with, even though it's essentially an impossibility. One of those things that it's very hard to think about beyond the obvious, like you cannot divide by 0. Yeah, okay, when you try to think further than that is why the cluster part, right? Like maths in general, when you try to look deeper than the basic operations, it's a clusterfuck. Don't destroy the world yet. That's the thing, like, the fact that it kinda gives you that initial reaction of this is very wrong, right? And the fact that there is such a clashing logic that it gives us the reaction of, you know, obviously as a shock, but like, you divide by 0, the world blows up. Because it's such a logical error, right? The fact that you can say that multiplication and division are operations that are supposed to be the opposite of each other, which means that if you apply them in reverse, you get the same result. So obviously, if you do 7 times 3, it's 24, and if you do 24 divided by 3, wait, I'm stupid. What the hell, dude? See, that's what happens when you start thinking of logic instead of just thinking out raw mathematics. God damn it. Actual, I'm dumber than an elementary schooler. Sorry, I meant to say you multiply 7 by 3 and you get 21, not 24. You get 21, and if you divide 21 by 3, you get 7, right? Like, that's the logic that everyone understands, and, you know, it's obvious, I guess. But then you apply that same logic with 0 and it doesn't work. And that's the one thing that kind of makes you a little bit dumbfounded, right? Like, you do 3 multiplied by 0, well, it's 0. But 0 divided by 0 is not 3, you know? In fact, 0 divided by 0 is every single number, because anything that gets multiplied by 0 is 0. But the moment you put another number that is not 0, the moment you do like 3 divided by 0, what do you get? You don't get shit. You get what I just did, like you spin out, your brain spins out. Yeah, that's the fucked up thing about dividing by 0. It's something that, well, I know that mathematics have shit like imaginary numbers and shit like that to explain logical inconsistencies like that, but, you know, a mathematician is gonna hear this and it's gonna want to kill me, but honestly, imaginary numbers sound like cope to me. That, to me, feels like the scientific coping that mathematicians do. Like, imaginary numbers, my ass. You're just making shit up. I know that things like that are useful to calculate things that would otherwise not be possible, or rather will require multiple hoops of logic to achieve a result. But so it's not like they are useless, they do have a use. I'm just saying that I don't know if they are a very nice logical explanation of the phenomenon of dividing by 0. For fuck's sake, you just needed to wait a little bit more, just a little bit more. You were about to pitch in and you had to be a bitch and do that. What a dipshit, dude. Every final lap of every stint is gonna be like that. That's the problem. Every single one of them. God damn it, dude. Why are you like this? Why do you feel like being like this? At least in terms of fuel, I always consume the same thing. Every time I get to pit stop is a 60 out of 80 that I have in the tank. At least in that regard, we are not doing worse or better. In terms of tires, well, I guess in terms of tires it's the same thing. Just that not doing better is a bad thing in itself, of course. On the right side, these guys are gonna pit stop on the next lap, so will be worse. I still have my doubts on how to do that final corner. It just looks like a torture. looks like it's there to make you spin. Like that's exclusively its objective. You know what? It's an issue thinking about Nurburgring. Nurburgring also has a lot of corners like that. Like a lot of very fast corners that still require you to not go full speed by the end of them. So that's the thing. I feel like as much as I would like to try Nurburgring without driving aids, I feel like it's an absolutely terrible idea. Especially when you take into account the pit stops. Like, maybe it's a situation like Le Mans where the pit stops are more or less, but they are completely equal across all drivers, simply because the alternative of not pitting in is doing a very long lap, possibly with bad tires, but I feel like it's gonna be a disaster. Really feels like it will be a disaster. I mean, if Nürburgring happens, it most likely will be the final race, so there is still a lot of time to prepare, to think, to reflect. It's a lot of time. Well, and the good thing is that the longer we go in the championship, it also means that there is a less chance for the harder tracks to show up. Like after this one, the next race will be the race number 10, and at that point it essentially means that there are 6 races remaining, and every time that a new track shows up, it means that the chances keep getting lower for the remaining ones to be the hard ones that I always mention, unless obviously one of them shows up, in which case, yeah, it will be the same as nothing. But I gotta assume Hong Kong will show up. Like, of all of the hard ones, I feel like that one is the one that is the most guaranteed, because with Formula 1 supposed to be an international competition where every race happens in a different country, the most likely scenario is that Hong Kong will be one of them. The Laguna Seca, I doubt it. First, because it's a race that is fucked up that you will put Formula 1 cars there, but aside from that, it's also in the USA, and this race right here is also in the USA, and we already had the New York urban track. Ah shit, what the hell? Okay, that guy kinda saved me, but not by a lot. It could have been a lot worse without that, but man, I'm starting to see that that first corner is actually extremely dangerous. Like, I was complaining about the hairpins before the race started, but honestly the hairpins are angels compared to that corner. That corner is the one that I think had even more casualties than the very last one that I also complain about. Essentially, the very first and the very last corners of this track with this configuration are troublemakers, without a doubt. Well, that's fine. So be it. I mean, what doesn't help here, there are two things that don't help out this corner. The first one is that it's on an uphill, so that already kind of fucks up your physics, in the sense that you need to do the corner not like any other corner. You have to pay special attention to how the uphill behaves. And then on top of that, it's also a blind corner. Because of the uphill, you don't know what's coming. So you can miscalculate very easily and go longer in the break than you wanted to. So that corner is extremely fucked up. So I guess I also gotta be extra careful with that one too, not choose this one here. This one, that's essentially the fastest I can take it, and you can see that I took it quite fast. It's not impossible to take it fast like that. Also, surprisingly, my tire wear here, I guess since I didn't have any extremely fucked up accident, my tires are not doing as badly as the previous stints. It's still important to keep it in control. Hey, don't do that. Come on. You are being rude, Mr. Opponent. Second place is the silver car. I mean, at this point, who gives a shit? But yeah. What we do know is that the CPU gives preference to the silver and the purple car. It's just that it doesn't seem to give preference to any of them in particular, in the sense that it's not like one is preferred over the other. They are both like kinda equally cared for. So in that regard, it's not very clear which one is the real rival, right? Alright. That was a more or less good stint, I guess. Still not in conditions of lapping the second place though, but we are close. Again, remember that they lap every 10 laps, so 40 will be their next pit stop. And there we will see. We will probably lap them by then. I don't know for how long though, since I will have to pit stop 2 laps afterwards, but what is obvious is that they will get lapped at least once. Oof. I almost fucked up that corner very badly. I do wonder how the eventual Suzuka circuit race is gonna go. I feel like it will be very similar to this one in how much of a clusterfuck it's gonna be, honestly. Because I mean, in terms of corners, I mean, Suzuka is a very particular track. I think that when you compare to Suzuka to anything else, it's very hard to find another track that is similar. But the thing is that the corners in that track can really be a problem. And if I'm already struggling with Sonoma corners that are not that big of a deal in comparison, like Suzuka is gonna be a problem. And not to mention that in Suzuka the potential to waste time is even worse than here. Like that track is even more surrounded by sand than this one, which means that if you go off track, chances are that you will lose a lot of time. And here in fact, you don't really see sand outside of here, right? Like outside of that, and I don't even know if that's supposed to be sand. It might just be like very, like thin grass instead of sand. But yeah, in Suzuka you do have sand, so going off track is gonna hurt a lot more than here. So that can be an issue too. Let me pass, bro. Come on. I'm the fast one here. Was a clean overtake. I like clean overtakes. It's only clean because the AI in this game is quite dumb when it takes corners, but hey, clean overtake nonetheless. Not this shit again. Damn it. I hate that corner. I hate it. I just really hate it. What an unlikable corner. Let that be a sneak peek into Nurburgring. And you have multiple of those in a lap, so if Nurburgring is a track here, you will see that happen very often. And it's precisely the reason why I'm not a fan of the idea of having the driving aids disabled there. And obviously I don't have to, I mean, not like I'm being forced by the game or by anything else. It's simply a personal choice, but it definitely does make the races a little bit more interesting. At least for me. I mean, not probably for any viewer. For me it makes them more interesting. Since I know that even if I might have a nice lead, it all depends on me to maintain that lead. Depends on not getting completely distracted. Okay, we lap this guy. And they are gonna pit in as well on this lap, so they will be a little bit further. Well, now that I think about it, if they are lap, we're actually not gonna pit in on the same lap when we reach lap 70. Because the time I reach lap 70, they will still be in lap 69. And that's the optimistic scenario where they didn't get lapped twice. I kinda doubt though that they will get lapped twice. It's a little bit unrealistic. I think that they are only gonna be lapped once and that's it. And here, for example, on the final lap of this stint, the state of my rear left tire is a lot worse. Also, wait, when did I get that PB? That was a very good PB, like by 1 second almost. 110. Was that the previous lap? I mean, it could have been the previous lap. The previous lap didn't really feel that fast. Maybe it was another one before that one. Or maybe it was that one, I don't know. Remember to pit in here. That's unbelievable, dude. It seems like a constant deja vu right now. It just happens every time. God damn it, dude. It's like it's a rule. It's meant to happen at this point. It cannot stop itself from happening. Whatever. I mean, on the final lap, I should take that corner more slowly, but the thing is that braking there can still fuck you up. Even if you try to brake to go a lot slower, you can still get absolutely fucked up by that. Come on, dude. You keep miscalculating these corners. That sort of movement in that corner is something that you cannot afford to do, assuming that's the final lap of a stint. You cannot afford such a risky movement like that one. There is just no way. I got it jailbroken, it was pretty easy. Now the problem is I don't have an SD adapter. Well, but if you buy an SD memory, it usually comes with an adapter, doesn't it? At least I think the one I purchased came with one. Right. To the point that I thought the adapter was the SD memory in itself, because it just came like that. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it came with it. As long as you buy an SD card, it should be fine, right? Want to plug into the cartridge slot. So it can work with the Vita. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Aren't those like the default adapters? Or am I missing something? Like the big ones. Ooh, that was something. Managed to save it, but that was very close to a complete spin out. It goes into the game slot, which is kinda funky. I mean, it's kinda standard, but I don't understand. Isn't that something that should have come with the Vita? Or is it because, well, I guess since the SD card is not an original game, yeah, it's understandable. But I don't know anything about that, dude, so I cannot give you any advice. I like how the piano gets reflected into the rear wing. That's a pretty cool effect. It's different from Factor or Form Factor. It's like the Switch ones. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure that the one that I have on the Switch is the one that came with the SD card, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Honestly, it's been so long since I purchased the SD card for the Switch that I don't really remember. And the worst part is that I purchased like 2 SD cards to be ready to be able to load more games. But I didn't even need to do that. Like, I think that I might have only used 1 SD card. And then I have other 2 that are basically collecting dust because I don't use them for shit. So, I mean, I don't really use the Switch that much in the first place, you know? It definitely doesn't help that I have the PS4 right there. So there is no room for the Switch in my desk. Ooh, that could have been very bad. That cone is pretty funny. I don't think there's really a reason to go into that specific part of the corner, so it's most likely gonna stay there until the end of the race. I will not be surprised. The Switch having those separate D-pad buttons is an interesting choice. Yeah, it's definitely a way to destroy your thumb. I can tell you that. Yeah, I think that I mean, if they wanted to make a console like that as massive as it is, they definitely had to have production costs somewhere, and I guess the buttons are the best example of that. Because aside from the fact that they are separate, they are also very cheap. They are definitely not very high quality buttons. But in that regard, it's the way it is. It's not like I really use... Ooh, that's something. I was gonna say, it's not like I use the mobile version of the Switch that much in the first place. I mostly just use it docked. And when it's docked, I use the Pro Controller. That is not like it's a masterpiece, but obviously comparing it to the Joy-Cons, it's definitely a masterpiece. Comparing it to the Joy-Cons, everything is a masterpiece. You can expect the final corner to be completely fucked up. Well, not even the final one. Already this one I'm struggling with. I tried to take it slowly. Okay, I took it as slow as I could without getting fucked. Don't worry about it, we're fine now. You can drift like a pro with those Joy-Cons, yeah, of course. Yeah, the sticks in particular are also pretty low quality as well, without a doubt. Hey, what can you do? As I say, if they want to make a console like that to be massive, they definitely need to cut code somewhere. Yeah, in things like that is definitely where you see that. Bro, this fucking first corner is so cancerous. Uh-oh, that's bad. Hold up, let me... God damn it, dude. Hey, you know how I failed that one corner and look at all the time that it has costed me? That's crazy. That fucking first corner, especially when you get out of pits, is such a fucking death trap. What a sack of shit. Unbelievable. The worst part is that you already started the stint with a very bad tire where, you know, that first corner was made by a psychopath. A psychopath came up with that first corner. I mean, that wouldn't be a problem if this was a fictional track, but this is a real life track, dude. This is a track that exists in real life, so that first corner is just like the corkscrew in Laguna Seca, made by a very bad person. Made by someone with only contempt for drivers and nothing else. Did that too fast. But technically that was not the first corner and I still kinda fucked myself. The issue is that here my tires are not even in a bad state and I'm still doing stuff like this. Pretty messed up. They are gonna pit stop now, but yeah, basically I didn't gain any advantage here. The dream of lapping them twice is certainly not gonna happen. It was by someone from Rosario. You think? It could be. But, you know, this is something that Americans have to take responsibility, because these two are American tracks. But, well, like the two that we are talking about, I mean Sonoma and Laguna Seca. Those two, unless it was an Argentinian immigrant, which could be, like this was something that is pure American evilness. And immigration back when these tracks were built was not as common as it is today, so I have my doubts that it will be a non-American. I mean, if anything, it will be a Mexican. That is the closest country they have. Oh, damn it, dude. This first sector, I'm doing it so badly. this first sector is taking me so much all of a sudden. I guess once you start getting into accidents, you start losing confidence in it and you kinda forgot how you were doing them before. God damn it. It's exactly why I'm scared of racing in Laguna Seca like this. Because what's happening now with that first corner, like with this shit. So imagine that in Laguna Seca corkscrew, but 10 times worse. Because in Laguna Seca, instead of being an uphill like here, it's a downhill. A downhill that comes from a straight, like you're going very fast and all of a sudden there is the corkscrew. That's the thing. If I do Laguna Seca assuming it's part of the championship without driving aids, it's gonna be a disaster. And I think the corkscrew is not gonna be the only problem. Like there are a lot of corners in Laguna Seca that I consistently get wrong. So those were the last two cones standing on the previous part of the track. Now no longer standing. Rip them. Rip them to pieces. The thing is that Laguna Seca I already struggled with a lot of the regular corners, so it wouldn't just be the corkscrew that will screw me over, but everything else is dangerous as well, so I really fear if Laguna Seca shows up. We will see though. That's the one thing that I like a lot about this championship is that I don't know what tracks to expect, so to me, I always have an expectation when, well, an expectation, I mean that I always have anticipation. What I'm trying to say is that I'm excited to find out what the next track is every time that I'm about to enter to the next race. So yeah, I think that's one of the best things of this championship. Not knowing what's about to come, and obviously the reaction when it comes. And so far, I didn't really have any negative surprise, because the only one that I guess took me a little bit by surprise, though I guess not that negatively, was Le Mans, because I was not expecting Le Mans to show up that soon. But yeah. I did that quite slow. Alright. So, there are only 2 more pit stops after this, for me, obviously. I feel like it would be nice if they let you do the whole sector before the speed limit. In fact, I think that the pit entrances should only become automatic the moment that the speed limit starts being enforced. I feel like everything else should be something that you will do. And obviously in this case it will be harder, but I don't think I particularly mind, because it will be exciting. Well, I don't know if exciting, but like, it will be nice to have like full control over the pit entrance. I mean, in a lot of cases it's the same thing, because the pit entrance is right there where the speed limit starts, but in situations like this one, it starts a lot earlier than the speed limit. The majority of games have an automatic pit stop once you enter like the pits territory. I feel like one of the only ones that doesn't do it like that is iRacing. Because iRacing is basically a full-blown simulator, of course, but one of the only ones where you manually have to pit stop. You have to enter the pit stop, manually decrease your speed when the speed limit comes up, because otherwise you get a penalty, and then manually steer to go where your pit crew is. I think it's the only game I saw that does that. Every other one does it automatically. I guess they are pretty unique in that regard. That cone, you were bothering me too much, so... Well, I probably should knock it to another part of the... of the road. I'm probably gonna encounter it again, but I guess I will keep knocking it until it completely gets out of the way. Finish recording replay. And that's the thing that I'll never understand. As you did not say that on the previous one, damn it. Or, well, it's also as I said last time. Maybe it did say it, and it probably said it at the same time as someone entered pit, so I didn't pay attention, but this is not a race that is that long compared, well, no, sorry, I meant to say that it's no longer at this point than most of the previous ones. That cone had a family, well, yeah, and the family is all scattered across the track as well, as you can very clearly see. Yeah, don't worry, all the cones are dead. I don't know where he landed, because I didn't see it, so maybe it's completely on the grass or something. I don't know. But then again, who cares? But I kinda care, but whatever. Something that I haven't done in a while is getting a PV. That has been my PV for quite a while right now. I guess I'm struggling to get a better one. Well, without Slipstream it's also quite hard to get PVs in. That PV probably had some Slipstream in it, but I think that without that it's not gonna happen. And well, Slipstream might happen after they pit stop now, because they have to pit stop here. in this lap. So I also have to pit stop 2 laps after this, so but I feel like we are gonna be next to each other soon enough. I like how you can see them in the distance, even though they are quite far in terms of track length. You can see them that far in the distance. Honestly, there are so many things this game does perfectly that it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how good this game is. Yeah, and that's what I get for being for showering the game with praises. I get instant karma. Actually, they are not gonna pit stop here because they are now in lap 60. The previous one wasn't their lap 60. This one is. And you pit stop in her heart? Why would I want to do that? I'm not stopping. I'm always going, you know? There are no brakes in this train. No brakes in the hype train. They are gonna start pit stopping now. They have to, yeah. So I most likely will lap everyone here. Most likely. They are constantly, I mean quickly gonna recover when I pit stop in the next lap. It's gonna be very short-lived. I mean, it will happen at least for a little bit. This is could be worse. Oh, this fucking corner I just cannot do. Ouch. That was pretty rude. Well, in reality, the one that was at fault was me, obviously. Oh shit, and he got pretty fucked from that, as expected. And I can't believe that I just made that guy lose the second place position. My condolences. Hey, come on, couldn't you see that someone had an accident and was trying to recover? Could have dodged me better. It happened pretty much because my tires are fucking dead. As expected. And he got fucked so badly. And that's because that corner is messed up. Like, if you go off track in that corner, it's very hard to recover properly. Okay. So at least here, well, I might be able to lap these guys twice, but it's probably only gonna happen at the very end. It's not gonna happen earlier than that. So I have to pit stop right here when they are right in front of me, so it will still take a while to reach them. I also like how, like, those things that the pit crew has to stop you from going forward. Well, like, they have the little thing that says first gear, that it says that. I like that because when you are stopped, something that is very common that can happen is that your current gear is not the first one. And if that happens, when you accelerate, you're most likely gonna spin out because your car is not prepared to start from zero on the second or whatever gear you are. So it's nice that that's a reminder so the drivers don't fuck it up. But it's a very common mistake for what I understand. when drivers are about to accelerate and the current gear of the car is not the first one. So it's nice, at least, to have that as a reminder. But I guess when you are so used to see it, I don't know if it really works as a reminder, and instead it's just that your brain completely filters it and doesn't even try to analyze it. Could be. Surprise. Well, I guess one cone there maybe got knocked. But in that corner in the middle, all the cones are in their place. I guess that because it's not like you have a lot of room there to not hit the cones. Okay, we're getting closer to this guy, so that means that we will start going faster, which obviously gives room for getting a lap PB, but also gives room for making a very bad mistake, you know. You can very easily get fucked when you go faster than you're anticipating and suddenly you are about to hit the wall. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. Wait, is that the silver car? Did I really make him fall all the way to 5th place? I kinda feel bad about that. Poor guy. One hit like that can really fuck you up, though. I mean, it was a very hard hit, so it's not particularly a surprise, but yeah. Feel bad about him, considering that he was in 2nd place. Because yeah, the 3rd place you can tell that it's the yellow guy, and the 2nd place is the purple one. But yeah, sorry silver guy. I did not mean to. I mean, if anything, the one that I have content against is the yellow guy. It's the guy that threw me off the track in Grand Valley, if I'm not mistaken. And in return, I also fucked him up in that same race. Because he deserved it. But yeah. Will this be a lap PB? Kinda looks like it will. Yeah, it will. There you go. It's as I said, if you want that, you need slipstream no matter what. Wait, something tells me there is something that I should realize. The songs are not shuffling. I mean, not like it matters too much because of how loud the whole game is, but I thought that the shuffle wasn't enabled at the beginning and now it is, but I guess it's one of those cases where shuffling might be... like, it's hard to tell what's currently the state of the playlist, because I remember these two songs coming one right after the other. So something tells me that, yeah, the shuffle might have been disabled a long time ago, Like when I thought that I was enabling it, in reality I was disabling it. But if that's the case, I apologize. But keep in mind that I'm not really paying that much attention to the music. Not like I can, I mean, with how loud the engine is, I don't think I can pay attention even if I wanted to. Also did this lap very fast. You see, it had not slipstream. I kinda doubt that it's gonna be a PB. Yeah, indeed it isn't. It would have actually been a PB with the previous PB, but you know, with the current one. So at the end of the day, just as I calculated, this will be like an hour and 40 minutes race. I guess it was bound to happen. The fact that that corner can go even further, pretty fucked up. And another variation. Alright. So this is the last pit stop, and yeah, just as expected, I'm most likely gonna lap them by 2 laps without any sort of problem. So yeah, we pretty much got this. Because they still need to pit stop once. And I'm pretty sure that I'm still gonna win, even if they didn't pit stop. I mean, it will be very clutch. If they didn't pit stop, lapping them one more time in only 5 laps, yeah, will be... I mean, it probably will happen, because it's not like the second place is that far, so yeah, it most likely will happen. Without a doubt, I can easily lap them without the need of them doing a pit stop. In fact, it will be quite poetic. Very sure assertion of dominance. I'm a fan, personally. I think that at this point, with the exception of Le Mans, it seems that the minimum I can lap these guys is always 2 laps. Like, It's not even one lap, it's two. These guys are at least 2 laps behind me every single time. Which is a little bit sad that they cannot offer a better competition, but it is the way it is. As I said, if I really wanted to make this the hardest possible, I will, on top of not having driving aids, use manual transmission, but I feel like that will be way too masochistic. I'm not ready for something like that. And I don't doubt that it will probably have races that will be very close all the way until the end, but there is also the possibility that every single corner that I do, I keep spinning out, and it's basically a big disaster no matter what. Oof. And that's the first time that I fuck up that corner like that. At least the good thing is that my lap times are consistently low, because essentially the most common lap time that I have is 1 minute 11 seconds. That's the most common one, and it seems that most of the last ones have been like this, so I think all things considered, I am doing this quite fast. I mean, pretty ironic to say that in a race that been going for 1 hour and 35 minutes, but I mean, that's just the normal stuff for this championship, you know. That's not a rarity, it's not an exception. If anything, it's the rule. Okay, we're almost done here. Essentially, that means 3 more streams to finish the championship, as expected. Because let's assume that one of the following races somehow takes 1 hour or less to be completed. Even there, the most I can do is fit 3 races in a stream. And that will still mean a total of 3 streams, with the difference that the final one will only have 1 race. I mean, the only other situations is that it's 2 races that are like that, 2 races that take 1 hour or less, but at this point I very heavily doubt it. Like, I think that at this point we can very easily agree that Motegi Oval was an exception, and certainly not the rule. Oh. Regardless of any of that, this is the final lap. We can be done with today's session. Very clean final laps as well. These are not only clean but also very fast ones. And look at that, I actually got very close to them again. I mean, I know that I will need to pit stop on the next lap if... Damn, that was a very, very fast lap. It was almost PB and without slipstream. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, that was very nice. But yeah, so far, up until now, there wasn't a single race that wasn't free. And it seems that the trend will most likely continue. We will see though. I'm also becoming an even bigger millionaire than before. And keep in mind that by winning the championship you get like 3 million credits. That's quite a lot. But yeah. Though before I forget, let me check what I saw about the playlist. That maybe the playlist actually is not... Oh really? Wait, that's a problem. Hold up. If I put cancel here... Well, before I do anything stupid, let me save state. If you put cancel, would you like to withdraw? Cancel. Okay. Damn, you cannot even enter the shook bots? That's fucked up. So now having like the wrong configuration, you're stuck with it. I understand not being able to enter other events or like a car manufacturer, but like, come on, dude. How can I not enter the shook bots? Are you out of your mind? Well, that's fine. I don't particularly mind. But yeah, that will be it for me for today. So hey, thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream with something else. So have a good one and take care.